Hi, this is Mike Walther with the Oak Wealth Advisors 2024 Market Summary and 2025 Expectations. This chart gives you a summary of the market returns over the last 5 years. As you can see, U.S. large company stocks, as proxied by the S&P 500 index, has had the best performance over the last 5 years, and last year returned 25%. And was one of the very few types of investments that was actually positive during the fourth quarter. Small company U.S. stocks also did well in 2024, returning 11.5%, but didn't do much in the fourth quarter at all. International stocks had a rough end to the year, with both developed stocks and emerging market stocks both falling over 7%, but returning reasonable returns of 5.3 and 8.1% for the full year of 2024. Bonds had an even tougher year. Total returns for the year were a little better than 1%, with a bad fourth quarter, and given the fact that rates have been rising over the 3 and 5 year period, really not much in the way of total return over a 3 and 5 year period. That being said, we think bonds with higher interest rates right now and the potential for lower rates in the future still present an attractive investment opportunity. Looking back on 2024, we mentioned that the S&P 500 reached a new high with that great performance that it had, driven largely by technology sector gains. And in fact, it grew to the point that at the end of 2024, the 10 largest stocks in the S&P 500 index comprised 33% of the total, so a very heavy weighting towards the biggest companies, which can be risky for the overall markets when those companies go in the other direction. In addition, with respect to the overall markets, there was positive performance across the globe. So last year was a year in which almost all global equity markets had a positive return, with the US, as I mentioned earlier, having the best single return, with the S&P 500 returning 25%, and Japan's Topix index returning over 20% as well. Looking at what happened with respect to economic and monetary policy, the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates by a full 1% last year. That's the rate that affects short-term borrowing and money market type savings accounts. Also, the U.S. has retained its position as the strongest economy among all developed markets, so relatively positive indicators going into 2025. As we look forward, we know that there are still conflicts in the Ukraine and around Israel, and a number of new populist leaders have taken over major European countries, and the U.S. for that matter as well, and they'll be leading going forward. So we'll have to look for what happens with those changes in terms of politics, but it'll be a new and exciting year for all of us as investors. With respect to economic policy, it's now anticipated that the Federal Reserve will do less lowering of rates in 2025 than it did in 2024. The expectation last year was that in 2025, rates would fall by another 1%. That expectation has now been halved as we start 2025. So expect less in the way of interest rate declines, largely due to inflationary pressures keeping rates higher. Also, there's a chance that global trade will be negatively impacted if the U.S. implements multiple high-level tariffs, as those will typically be met by retaliatory trade policies from other countries against U.S. businesses. With respect to technology, we anticipate that artificial intelligence will continue to dominate the growth in our economy. Therefore, the companies that are best aligned to utilize AI will be the winners. And really, technology is going to impact all industries. And we're seeing that even in industries like energy, which is thought to be an old, staid type, boring industry. Well, with the increased demand for energy usage to use the AI tools, that's fueling the growth for energy demand and causing prices of energy providers and producers to rise as well. So with that, that's our summary. Here's our disclosure. This obviously was not investment advice, but we hope it was informative and helpful for you as you think about your planning and your investments for 2025. Best wishes.